Welcome to part 2, and as I informed you earlier in this second part of this tutorial on how to create a contact form in Dreamweaver, I said I'll be formatting the form further, okay, and then I'll be taking you through the PHP script briefly, and also I told you that the PHP script is actually available for download, so even if you don't know PHP, it's absolutely alright. You can just download it from my website http://qualitylessons.net/downloads and make full use of it. Okay. Before I proceed further, I actually managed to pinpoint two very small aberrations in the code. They're not major aberrations, they're not big issues, they're very minor issues that do not actually affect the way the form works. Okay, very small formatting issues. Have a look out here. This word comments is very close to this word phone, correct? And that means that just need to insert one more BR tag. So let me locate that BR tag in the code area. Okay, have a look out here, people. We just have one BR tag out here, the line break tag. Okay, that's fine. Let me just locate the word comments. Okay, this is the aberration. You see, here in line number 127, there's just one single BR tag, but it actually needs to, we need two tags out here. So just gonna copy this bit. Okay, I'm gonna place it once again. Let me click out here in the design area. Okay, and you can actually see that now the spacing between the phone field and the comments field is proper. Okay, cool. And there was yet another minor aberration. You see, this BR tag has been inserted after the colon. It'll be a good idea. Actually, doesn't really matter, doesn't affect things. If I actually drag it and drop it out here after the label tag. So we have the opening label tag, the closing label tag, and then the BR tag. Actually, if I click out here, you wouldn't see any change at all. As I said, not a major aberration. It was a very small issue. But it was just the right way of doing things. Wouldn't really affect the way the form actually functions. Now that we have swept aside the minor problems, let's concentrate on formatting the form a little further. Cool. Okay, so let's start. Let's click on this new CSS rule button, people. Before that, let me tell you what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to format the reset and the send mail buttons. Cool. I'm in the live view. Let me come off the live view. Right, so I'm going to format the reset and the send mail buttons. So what's common among these buttons? Have a look out here that the ID for both these buttons is button. See, ID is button and ID is button 2 for this button. So is there a rule that I can create that will affect both the buttons together? Yes, there is. We can use attribute selectors in the manner that I'm about to show you, people. So let's click on the new CSS rule button. Okay, let's get rid of the whatever actually auto populates. Have a look out here. The contextual selector is set to a compound, right? And then I'm going to say input, and in square brackets, beg your pardon, that's square brackets, I'm going to type ID, then the asterisk, let me locate the asterisk there, right, is equal to BUTTO and button, right. I'll tell you what this actually means. This means that any input tag that contains the word button, that asterisk means contains the word button. So both the buttons, reset and the send mail button, actually contain the ID button. One contains the ID button. You can have a look out here. The other one contains the ID button too. Cool. And look out here, it clearly says the choose where your rule will be defined. So don't say Spry validation text field. Let's say this document only, right? So just creating an internal or an embedded rule. Let's say okay. Cool. Let me choose a background color first. In fact, let me go with the foreground color, the text color first. Let's make it white. Cool. Let's go with the background color of let's say an orangish shade. This looks okay to me. Let's go back to the type category. I would also want to make the font a little bolder, right? Let me go to the box category. I want to define the this width and the height for this button. So how about going with the, let's go with the 75, but let's say 30, right? And yep, seems okay to me. Let's say okay and check it out. All right, so there you see the buttons, and if I were to hit the live view, let's see how they actually look now. All right, looking pretty cool, right? Now that I'm actually done with the buttons, I can actually see the Sendmail. The exclamation mark is missing actually, so which means that I need to go back to the same rule, just increase the width a little bit. Let's go with 80. Let's try 80. Okay, no, I still don't see the exclamation mark properly. Let's try 85 actually. 85 is fine. Yep, no, it's perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see, right? Now that I'm actually done with the buttons, people, let me tell you something. The colors that you see when you in fact, let me show you the form first in the browser preview in Google Chrome after saving the changes to the form file. Okay, now this is the form, people, and if I click in the name field, you see that the field actually turns yellowish. Okay, if I click the Sendmail button, you see the form fields actually turned red, right? I would like to point out that these are the default colors which can actually be changed by us, and let me show you how that's possible. If I go back to Dreamweaver, excuse me, you see, let me increase this area on the right hand side. You see there are a lot of CSS rules for the Spry validation text fields and Spry validation text area, and if I were to click on the rules, okay, have a look out here, people, as I click on these rules. So for the first rule it says display none. For the second rule it says this is the color. Okay, for the valid state it says this is the color. If you remember, when we validate properly, this is the color that actually pops up. And let's say now this is the invalid state, this is the color. Okay, this is the focus state, people. Let's show you an example. Let me change this state to a different color just for the time being. Let's click out here. Let's try the continuous tone. Let's click out here. Let's try the Window OS. Let's try this color, and let's get back. Let's say preview in Chrome after saving the changes to the file. Now when I click in, you can actually see that the focus state color has changed, which means that it's not at all too difficult. Okay, but you see for the text area the focus state color is still the same. That's because you need to alter that color from a different place, and that is out here. So I can go here, and then I can choose this color. Let's go back, preview it up in the browser. Now when I hit the comments area, or the text area, you see this is the focus color, and for the name field this is the focus color. The shade is slightly darker for the comments text area, but that's something that you can alter. The whole point that I'm trying to drive out here is that you should know how to make the changes, right? So let's go out here, let's check the color. This is the color actually. Let's copy the color. Let's go out here and paste the color so that both the colors are just the same. Right, now they are. Now let me just go back and preview it up in the browser. Right, cool. Right, so it's not at all too difficult to make the changes to the color. So you know, it's a lot of common sense. You know, the description is clear enough. It clearly says, you know, this is for the valid state, this is for the focus state. So using a little bit of common sense and trial and error, you can actually change the colors for the different states of the text fields and the text areas. Cool. So that's taken care of as well. And let's add a subtle box shadow or drop shadow to the form as well. So let's see how that's possible. People, if you remember, this is contained in a div, the ID for which is my form. Right, what I'm going to do is, for starters, let me collapse this box. So let me go out here and say close tab group, and close this tab group as well. Okay, now I'm actually tackling the rule which is my form. Let me expand the area on the right like so by dragging. Okay, now I'm actually tackling the ID my form. This ID is attached to the division which actually contains the form. Right, let's add the CSS3 property to create a box shadow. So let me hit the add property button, and let's say box shadow. Right, okay, which will actually add the drop shadow filter, people. So let me click this plus button. I wouldn't want any inset shadow, which means going inside. I would want it to go outside. Let's say the offset is 2, y offset is 2 as well. The blur radius, how much blurriness you want around the edges. Let's say I would want 3. Spread also I would want as 3 pixels. And as far as the color is concerned, let's go with silver. Let's try silver. Let's see how it actually looks. Hit enter. Okay, and let's take a preview in the browser to see how things look like right now. Okay, so you can actually see the subtle box shadow around the box. In fact, I'm not happy with the color silver. That's one change that I need to make. Let's click out here on this icon, and then let's change the silver to, let's say, a pound sign 222. Hit enter, and let's press F12 to take a preview in the browser, people, after saving the changes to the form.html file. Okay, that's a lot better. Cool. And as far as the formatting is concerned, I think I'm pretty happy. I wouldn't want to alter anything else. So yep, except that in fact, I would, to match things properly, I would like to make one change. If you remember, I had gone to the focus state and I made this change. In fact, this pinkish kind of a color I would like to replace with the color azure, which is very mild. I like this color a lot, which also means that I should be going to Spry validation text area.css file and make the same change out there as well. So just locate the focus state, which is this rule, 1 2 3 4, 5th rule from the top, and replace with azure. Right, let's take a preview. Yep, it's that very mild bluish color, people. I thought it actually gels more with the background. Cool. Right. Okay, now that I'm actually done with the formatting, I'm pretty happy with these buttons that I created. I would actually want to talk about the PHP script now. Okay, Before that, in fact, let me show you how things work right now. Let me take a preview in Google Chrome. Let me fill out the form first. Let's say the name is Mohit Manuja. Okay, let's tab. So when I tab, it shows the green valid state. Email address is mohitsmail@yahoo.com. Very colorful form actually. Right, so that's a valid state, green color. Phone number +91 dash will auto populate. That was an enforced pattern. 9022995952. Cool. Comments I conduct courses in Dreamweaver and Flash. Cool. You can see the counter actually decrement out here. Yes, sign me up for the weekly newsletter. Grammatical mistake. Okay, and to avoid spam, tell us how much is 9 plus 3. Obviously it's 1 dozen, 12. And send mail, and the moment you hit the send mail button, you can actually see this picture pop up. This message says mail received, will get back soon, and back to the home page. Right, people, the form will not actually, the mail will not be received unless and until the files are actually uploaded to the server. You should understand that. Right, let's get back to Dreamweaver. Cool. Now let's open up the PHP script and let's explain the PHP script to you. Also, let me tell you, let me come with the live view momentarily. Let me tell you, if I click on this red colored area, you see the form tag, that is, see the form tag. You can actually see in the actions down below here in the properties, clearly the action should point to the PHP script. It's the PHP script is inside the assets folder. You see in line number 119, where you have the opening form tag, the action should point to the PHP script. You can just click out here, and you see this is the PHP script, which is sitting inside the assets folder. Cool. Let me open up the PHP script and explain it to you. Also, momentarily, let's go back to the local site folder. This is the local site folder, people, DW forms. Have a look out here. This is the HTML file, the form file. In relation to this, the PHP script is sitting inside this folder called assets. Okay, this is the PHP script. These are the this is the Spry assets folder. Okay, and this is the images folder, which contains one single image, people. Okay, right. As I said, let's open up the PHP script and talk about it. Right click, let's say edit with Dreamweaver CS6. Right. Okay. Now let me expand this area to get a better understanding of the things. Let's collapse this area on the right hand side. Let's adjust the panes like so. Right, I'm happy now. People, have a look out here. If you remember, when I was actually creating the form, I told you that the IDs, name, email, phone and comments, will be used up in the PHP script just the way I actually typed them. If you remember, let me go back to the form.html file. The IDs that were used while I was actually dropping the Spry validation text fields were extremely important. If you had watched part number 1, and if you remember clearly, I told you the ID is very important. Okay, so you can see out here, these are actually variables in the PHP script that are required to capture the data. People, I'm not a PHP scripter. I don't understand PHP pretty well. I can just make a little sense of a very little sense of it, but enough to make slight alterations to the script, right? The one thing that you would need to change after downloading the script from my website, http://qualitylessons.net/downloads, is this to field. Okay, now this variable to with the $ is pointing to mohit.manuja@gmail.com. Now that's my email address. You'll need to replace it with the email address that you wish the email should be shot to. Cool. The subject also needs to change. The subject out here, it says a new contact page message from qualitylessons.net. It says so because that's my website. In your case, it could be xyz.com or whatever. So need to change the subject to. Okay. Now you know the relevance of these variables. In fact, if you remember, this variable isn't so important actually, but this word out here matches the ID. In fact, strictly speaking, I can actually use a different variable name than the ID that I actually used. I beg your pardon, I would like to retrace my statement. This isn't so important. What's actually important is this, right? So although the name out here and the name out here actually match, this could have been name 1 as well, but this name and whatever was used up there in the HTML file should match. Okay, so a small mistake I made. So this name, this email, this phone, this comments out here, and the sign up, this should match with the HTML ID field while we were creating the text areas in the text fields. Cool. If you remember, we had used math, name, email, phone, comment, sign up, right? Okay, keep the form, rest of the form just the way it is. No changes need to be made. Have a look out here. We have an if conditional out here. Clearly says if number is equal to 12. Check if the number is 12. If you remember, we had created a math field where I'd written, let me go back, where I'd written to avoid spam, tell us how much is 9 plus 3. So what would happen is it will validate out here in the if conditional. It will clearly say, it'll clearly check if the number entered is actually 12. If it is, it'll echo a message. We'll reply soon, thanks for your interest. Otherwise, it'll echo another message. When I say echo, it'll display the message. Okay, did you answer the math question? Your in fact should be, did you answer the math question or did you answer the math question correctly? Your message was not sent. So if you miss that number or you enter a wrong number that doesn't equal 12, your message would not be sent. You'll get this alert, right? So people, these are the the mild changes that you need to make. Also, it'll display this image after the the sent mail button is clicked. If you remember, this image is lying inside the images folder. Let me open up my local site folder. In relation to the PHP script, this is the images folder which contains this image, which will actually be shown once the send mail button is clicked. So if you want, you can actually replace this image with your own image. You can have a look out here. After the send mail button is clicked, it'll be you'll be redirected to a different page, and that page will display this image. So if you wish, you can replace this image with your own image, right? And then it'll ask you to be redirected to the home page, which should be index.html, back to home page, right? So you don't need to make any other change, people, right? Just be very sure that your local site folder, in my case it's DW form, has the form.html file out here. It should contain the assets folder next to it, and then inside it should be the send PHP script, and the images folder should be sitting next to the PHP script. So the PHP script has been designed keeping the architecture of the the DW forms local site folder. So make sure your local site folder resembles my local site folder. Otherwise, you need to go and make changes to the PHP script. See out here, it's looking for this image in the images folder, for this image mail.mailReceive.png. so you see the relationship should not, if your folder is not images, it's image, so you should need to change this folder to image rather than images, right? So make sure that the relationship is perfect. Also, if you have a look out here, when I go to the form.html file, let me select the form tag, clearly says that the send PHP is inside the assets folder. If in your case it's sitting, you know, the PHP script is sitting next to the HTML file, you don't need to put this assets out here. So make sure that the relationship among the files, the cross-linking, is done properly. That's very important, right? So people, I'm going to wind this tutorial now, only to inform you once again that the PHP script is available as a free download from my website, http://qualitylessons.net/downloads. You have a good day, guys. Bye bye. Peace.